Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness brought to you by DraftKings and their Pick 6 app. Sign up with code MADNESS6 for up to $50 in free credits. On today's show, we have Armand Wilson, VP of Categories and Expansion for the live selling platform Whatnot, and also a friend of the show because we had Armand on back during the National, and we got him on again because there's a lot of great things happening with Whatnot. We want to hear about him. So, Armand, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you guys for having me, and it's good. It's good to see you in a little less of a chaotic environment. And I think we
With
were
better
below
audio.
the jumbotron. Yeah, below the jumbotron at the National. This feels more natural.
I will say this, Armand.
We,
I have a lot of followers on Instagram, and I put out like, hey, what do you want to ask, whatnot. We got like 50 questions for you. It was crazy. So we condensed them to like 6. Don't worry. But it was wild. So everybody's really excited to kind of hear from you. So it'll be awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So let's start off with we're kind of just coming kind of the end of the holiday season, and I know that the Black Friday time period was actually really big for Whatnot. So I'd love it if you could just kind of catch me and Nick up and the audience up on just kind of what happened during Black Friday and even kind of what's happening since then, leading up to the end of the year. What's going on at Whatnot?
Yeah, for sure. Black Friday was super exciting for us. We've done a bunch of different activations on Black Friday throughout the years, but this was probably our most successful one to date. I think we grew about 93% year over year on Black Friday, which is pretty unbelievable and was something we were stoked about. And I think particularly when I think the broader e-commerce like sites, which is normally, I feel like Black Friday is normally something that these bigger e-commerce sites are the ones that are really taking advantage of. The stat I saw was growth for them was around 10%. So it was very cool to see that some of these like broader e-commerce trends are starting to play in live shopping, which is, as you guys know, still quite new in the US. But it was great for us. We did a bunch of marketing. Our sellers really showed out and brought some incredible inventory on the platform. And so I think that combination made it a really good success.
Yeah, that's awesome. So people are done. What is it? Door busting, and they're now hopping on your platform. That's wild. It didn't even like occur to me to like you think of these traditional online retailers, but to just hit the live selling. So congratulations to you guys. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you see those videos from like the prior Black Fridays where people are running and it's like chaotic, and that's like that's obviously a very special shopping day in person. But when we talked about like live shopping a lot and like Whatnot and some of the value props for you as you come on as like a buyer, it's kind of like how do you take some of like those best experiences you get from shopping in person and bring them much more like like an environment from really just sitting on your couch, and you can like experience that at home. So like you go into a shop, you talk to a sales associate, they introduce you to a product that you may not know you wanted, or you're going in there looking for something exactly, and you have a really good experience, and then you walk out. It's like, how can we replicate that on Whatnot and from the comfort of your house? So don't have to wait in line at stores. You can walk right in. You get that kind of like personalized experience. So there's the sellers I buy from that I enter the room, they call me out, they shout me out by name, they know who I am. I was talking about the Muhammad Ali poster in the back. I've been buying a lot of vintage boxing t-shirts, like vintage t-shirts on Whatnot, and so there'll be a couple sellers where I'll enter the stream and they'll be like, "Oh, what's up, Armand? We actually have this like De La Hoya t-shirt." They'll hold it up on the screen, show me how flowy it is and like how it looks, and then I could like feel like a real personalized experience. And so I think a lot of what we've seen is like the great parts of shopping in person and how we can like replicate the magic of it while we're reducing some of the friction, like waiting in line.
Nice.
Very cool. So, Armand, live selling, all right, it's already blown up in Asia. It's already a thing, right?
Yeah.
China, it's just dominating. It's exploding. US is probably more on the adoption side of the curve still, right? What's happening with sports cards in particular? Are there any updates on numbers on your end from a sports cards perspective? Are they down? Are they up? Are they the same? How's that category doing?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we released a live shopping report a couple months back, and it talks a bit about some sports specific quotes, then some like macro quotes. And so one of the numbers that we were proud of was that at that point a couple months ago, we surpassed over $2 billion in sales, which was a wild one. And I think sports cards is one of our biggest categories. It was our third category we launched into. So it's been around for a while, and every year it's growing tremendously year over year. So we're seeing a lot of the same amazing success that we have in prior years, and we're also seeing a lot of new folks enter the market, which always gets us quite excited as well.
Excellent. Is there a new category that Whatnot is not in right now that you're looking to get into in the next 6 months or 12 months?
Oh yeah, that's the golden question as we like go into planning for next year. Yeah, there's definitely some things that we want to like lean into more. So one of the ones that I'm excited about that we've been talking about is like art. So yeah, when we think about like what's a good category for Whatnot, it's like what does like the live video experience can add value to. And I think nearly every product category you can really think of, you can buy online. Live adds more context. You're able to get like a better shopping experience. And so I think something as creative as art, where we've already seen some of this happen organically, where people are making their own art, or comic artists. Comics was one of our first categories. They're going on and selling sketches, and that's like been working really well. So I think we're going to double down there. And then I'll give you like the long shot one that I always like to talk about, which is I think maybe not in 6 months, maybe in a couple of years, but I think one day you'll be buying cars on Whatnot as well.
Wow, that'd be wild. I can picture you're at a dealership or whatever. You're in your parking lot. You're like, "What's up, guys? I got a BMW. I got to get rid of.
I got to move it fast.
I'm going to start the bidding at $1."
Yeah, I mean, you see, I remember when I was young, I remember I had a teacher that bought a car on eBay, and I thought that was like the wildest things. And then you think about that, that was probably getting old now. So that's maybe like 20, 25 years ago when that happened. But think about buying cars online on eBay and other marketplaces. And if you add a video to the end of those auctions and you're able to like zoom in on different parts of the car and and ask more questions right with the person selling it, I'm just fully convinced that those things will sell for more, and you'll get like a much better experience for both buyers and sellers.
Right. That is interesting. So let's go back to cards. Yep. One of the really kind of beautiful things about our show is Nick and I have kind of become like the watchdog, or one of the watchdogs in the hobby. So with that, we get like a lot of people reaching out, talking about just like drama that's happening in the hobby, and the good things and the bad things. And we've seen recently, it might not be an uptick, but a lot of it's coming to us of breakers doing some shady things that the buyers certainly don't like. There's they pull a great card, and all of a sudden they just immediately cancel their account. They disappear. They take that card, and who knows what they do with it. We've heard of shill bidding, right? We've heard of breakers canceling a break because they're not making enough money on the box or the case that they just purchased. So for Whatnot, it feels like a really good opportunity for you guys to kind of, have some governance that you can put in place. And I'm just wondering, like, have you guys thought about that? Well, first off, maybe if you could talk about like what governance maybe is in place today. And then if you're kind of also seeing some of this stuff happening, like what you guys are thinking of doing in the future to prevent some of these things from happening.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question, and one that we spend a ton, every single day thinking about. We know some of those experiences like can be some of the worst experiences, and we're part of the community as well. So if we buy into a break, we want to make sure that the pack that we got, the cards in those packs, like get to us as well. And if they don't, we understand like how bad of an experience that can be. So we're constantly thinking about it, and really like Whatnot was founded on those principles of like, we started back in the early days with selling Funko Pops, but the original idea was like, how do we really build a really trustworthy community around these really passionate communities? And so, hard to find a community as passionate as sports cards. And so we know that there's like, these are areas that we have to keep and continue to invest in. And when we think about trust and safety, we have a whole team that's like built out, and that's all they do is try to think about how to improve these policies. So It's a policy team, it's a trust and safety team. We have enforcement matrices built out to really ensure that we have like a really trustworthy experience on the platform from both buyers and sellers. We do a bunch of work to proactively try to spot these things. So when you when you go through seller onboarding now, you have to upload your ID, you have to upload a credit card. There's a bunch of things that we do to try to create friction to remove bad actors from the platforms before they're even able to get there. There's a bunch of cross checks we do in the background, and then there's a whole ton of work that we do reactively when things do happen on the platform. So sports, maybe some like the more sports card specific stuff that we try to think through is with breaking, we know, the experience you alluded to, which is like, I buy a pack and a break, I hit a good card, it gets lost in the mail, the seller doesn't send it, whatever the issue may be. We created a policy that, that we didn't think existed anywhere else at the time, which was when those big hits happen, we go and we try to work with this. If it's a one-of-one card, we'll go work with the seller directly, and we'll really push to try to do everything in our power to get that card into the buyer's hands. If we can't, or if it's if there's multiple of the cards, we'll go out into the market and try to buy that card ourselves and get it to the buyer so they feel that we took care of them in the right way. And then at the worst case, like we'll compensate folks, and we won't just compensate them for the break spot that they brought into. We'll go and understand like what is the value of the item they hit, and we'll compensate them for that. So that is something that, was new and something that came from like us seeing some incidents in the marketplace. And these are all things that I don't think are new problems that have been going on for forever. But to your point, Larry, like I think it's an opportunity for us to really try to lead the way and try to correct this stuff whenever we can.
Yeah, I think that's a huge marketing opportunity for you. That last piece you said that you will, go and research the card, and if you have to, you'll buy the card or you'll just refund the money or recoup their losses. I don't know how many
no one knows
know
this, Armand. That. No one knows this.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I might share this after our
this
our
might
interview.
this might be the reel for the show. Is that piece right there? That would be huge. That's a huge opportunity for marketing for you guys. Big time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Armand, this question might shock you a little bit.
Okay.
I've been getting into this world. You probably don't even know this exists. Okay. I'm always looking at innovation and what's happening in breaking. I push the envelope, and I've run into a few women that are doing R-rated breaking. Now, I know breaking is probably already R-rated in terms of language, right? We could probably agree on that. There's a lot of language on certain types of breaks. But these women are actually opening packs of cards naked. They're doing it on OnlyFans and a few other places. Are you aware of this happening? That's my first question. And my second question is, do you think this is something that's viable, maybe not on Whatnot, but could be something that happens in the breaking world in the future?
I was not aware of it. I don't know if I'm overly surprised. Like it sounds like it's something that's already happening. So it seems like it's taking off, but it hasn't come to me. So it may be a bit of a surprise. And I haven't heard any of our sports team really talk about it. So, definitely a surprise, but I'll say like the community definitely continues to innovate. But yeah, I don't know if you'll see that on Whatnot anytime soon.
If somebody tried that on Whatnot, is that just instant ban right now? Like, is it against policy?
Yeah, it's against policy, and like I mentioned earlier, we have an enforcement matrix, and there's some things that will get folks suspended, some things that will result in a lifetime ban, and I definitely think that's one that would not
lives
stand the platform.
That lives in the enforcement matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine. All right, thanks for indulging me on that one.
Maybe just to double up, like Nick, we have a bunch of folks on our policy team actually that worked at Twitch previously, and so they have like deep experience in like all the crazy stuff that happens on live stream. So we've actually have thought a bunch about these different scenarios and how we can make sure that we're keeping the community safe and trustworthy and focused on focused on the product and the communities.
That's probably a smart play at the moment. Just for your awareness, I've met 3 to 5 women doing this already. Wow. It's crazy. Not obviously on OnlyFans and not, on Whatnot and things like that, but it's wild.
Yeah.
So let's kind of stay on this same kind of topic a bit, not the R-rated stuff, but Nick and I, and I think the audience will kind of see this, like, we're starting, me and him are starting to come around to like, ooh, maybe we want to get like into breaking. Like we're starting to like ask a lot of questions, which is awesome having you on today.
Yep.
But we want to do like we want to see if there's a way to like make it like appointment viewing. Like what like it's like the Tonight Show. Like at 11:30 you're tuning in for 1 hour every night because this breaker does just incredible, entertainment or music or what have you. Are you guys thinking of that, thinking of ways to really enhance the experience for the buyer, maybe giving the sellers some additional tools to really make it appointment viewing? I just would love to know your overall thoughts around this and what you guys are thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the value, a lot of the value in live comes in the entertainment factor that you see there. And so we definitely want to always we talked a lot about making the platform trustworthy and safe, but like we also we understand like why people love it. Like we want to make it fun. We want people to engage with each other and be very social. And so our product team is like constantly thinking about the different ways that we can build new features that make it more exciting, more engaging. So some of the things that we've launched recently is we launched a feature called Rewards Club, where sellers can create their own reward programs that are very tailored to their audience. Again, going back to this like personalization and having this deep connection with the sellers that you follow. We just released a product called Flash Sales, where you can sell products really, really fast, which makes it really exciting. So in one of the sneaker streams in Black Friday, one seller sold 3,000 pairs of sneakers, and I think it was 3 minutes.
What?
So we're constantly trying to think of these ways that we can make it super entertaining and engaging. And I think broader, maybe it's just the last thing I'll say is like on broader tips for as you guys start up is like, I think if you think of it just like as you're opening up a shop and you want to like the best shops that stand out to you will, they'll provide good product. They will be super engaging and entertaining, and you'll enjoy the conversation when you go into the shop. They'll have really good customer service. They'll ship cards immediately. If any incidents happen, they'll work with the customers in a really good way. So I think a lot of what we've seen for there's a bunch of sellers that we've had on the platform for years and they've grown really big businesses, but there's also new sellers that come on every single year and go full time on whatnot. And I think the ones that the most consistent pattern you see is people that take it really serious and give a really, really good experience to the end buyers. And that's what we've seen really shine to the top.
That's cool. Just one follow up to that. You heard my reaction with those 3,000 sneakers in 3 minutes. Like logistically, like explain that. How did that seller do that? Like, how is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of wild things go on outside of sports cards where people do 2 second, 3 second sudden death auctions where you'll put an item up and then it'll get bid up in 3 seconds, and then whatever price it ends at, it is sold.
Wow.
So I don't know if you've seen any of the streams in China, but you see a lot of like rapid sale type behavior where an item will be on the screen for like a couple seconds and then we'll go off. And so I think we have a ton of creative sellers on the platform, and people are always trying to find unique ways to sell products. And so whether it's sudden death auctions that are only last a few seconds, or if you essentially pin up an item that you have a bunch of SKUs for, and you can drop the price, and then the community will just react in a really, really engaging way and buy a bunch of products in a short period of time.
Very
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah, for me, I try to watch a break. Sometimes it's so painful. It's like it's not 5 hours, but it feels like 5 hours of filling the spots. And it's like, come on, guys, this is the deal, guys. And I just want to it's like the Kentucky Derby, right? It's like you got 10 hours of just looking at horses' butts for like, the entire day. And then it's like 10 seconds of racing. I just want the racing. I want to see the packs get opened. So I imagine it's an opportunity for some breakers to become, more efficient and more entertaining. So it'll be interesting to watch, to your points.
Yeah.
So Armand, I want to shift this a little bit to gambling a little bit and just thoughts on that and breaking in general. How do you feel about the gambling aspect of live selling? Do you feel like it is gambling, or if it's more just like a randomized contest?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is, I assume like you're talking mostly about like the breaking element
Of course.
that is
Yes.
happening on the
Sorry. I'm
platform.
not talking
Yeah.
about sneakers or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like spinning a wheel
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
picking a team and gambling on a spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a bunch of policies we rolled out over the last couple of years, whether it's on like mystery packs and things like that to really try to clean it up and just make sure that we have a platform that's super safe. I think when we think about all of those things, like we think the platform that provides the best experience for buyers and sellers, but particularly buyers are the one that's going to like last out over like the long term. So we don't want people to come on, have a really bad experience, spend a bunch of money, and then never come back. Like that's no good to anyone, to our sellers, anyone else. So we're constantly trying to figure out ways where it just feels super fair, and everyone feels like they're buying whatever they're paying money for, they're getting, and it's a very adequate like trade. And then on box breaking in particular, I think I think there's a bunch of different ways you can look at it. The way I like to look at it is like you know, when you first got into cards and you're with, I remember going to a local card shop with my dad, and you buy a pack of cards, and you're like opening up a box like with like the shop owner or with a friend or whatever it may be. It's essentially you're able to just do that in a way that you know, is more economical. So like if I don't have the money to like buy a whole box, I can buy one pack of cards, a couple pack of cards, and be able to enter into that. And so a lot of the way I look at it is like there are folks that are entering, you know, whatnot from their couch and all across the U.S. now in Europe as well, and they may not have access to the same card shop that you guys have, or local. You know, you can't get these products, and so they're able to tune in and one just like see these items be opened on the screen, and then they're able to buy in a way where maybe they can't afford a whole box, or maybe they just want to buy one pack of cards, and they're able to partake in something bigger. So that's kind of how I see it.
Right. The digital
yeah.
form of that community. Yeah, I just have one follow-up question. Then LZ has one more question for you. I know we're tight on time.
Cool.
Just following on that point there, are you ever, or will Whatnot potentially ever institute an age restriction for a certain type of break, like a serial number break or a team break? Do you anticipate saying like, all right, you have to be 18 to take part in this, or is that not on the roadmap?
Yeah, I mean, I think nothing's off the table. As I mentioned, like we just want to create a really good experience for buyers and sellers. And so like if it's I don't mean to sound like a broken record there either. Like it's genuinely like what we care a lot about. And so some of the policies that we talked about today, like the you know, high value incidents and things like that happen, like those are all came from an incident happening and us listening to the community and then building new policy around it. And so like we haven't seen a huge amount of these incidents pop up or a lot of noise from like the community, but once we'll constantly be reactive and we'll constantly be building new policies and new product features into the app to make sure it's a safe and trustworthy experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, let's focus on next year. Let's focus on 2025. The last time you and I chatted, Armand, you were giving away a Cybertruck. So you guys do big promotions, right? This is at the national everybody. What does 2025 look like for, let's start with the sellers. Like any big promotions coming up for them to draw more sellers in? And then I guess the second question would be, what are you doing, if anything, for buyers in 2025?
For sure. We've had this funny trend. It's become kind of an internal meme that we keep giving away these cars, and we kind of joke around it, but it keeps somehow coming back to that. And so, a few years before, when there was the triple logo man hunt, you know, we had this campaign where we gave away a Lamborghini, and then Backyard Breaks famously hit the card on Whatnot a few days later, which was wild. So our marketing team is amazing, and they'll constantly think about ways to like keep pushing the ball forward and just make sure that the hobby is like super engaged. But yeah, I mean, I think as you look into next year, I think you'll see a lot of the same. Like one of the stats that I saw recently was that McKinsey said that they think about 10 to 20% of all e-commerce will be live stream commerce by the end of 2026. And so that's still like a huge shift from where we are today. And so I think what you're going to see is just this massive adoption. It's happened casually, or not, I guess not casually. It's happened quite quickly in our communities over the last few years. But I think you're going to see a lot broader appeal to live shopping. And I think even within, communities like sports cards, like we're still pretty low penetrated. Like I think you'd be surprised at how many people are not, it seems quite big now, maybe to you and I, but like a lot of people still don't know about Whatnot, don't know about live shopping, and they don't know this exists. And so I think for us, like next year is going to look like a lot of like the same. We're going to continue to like deeply invest in the communities that we're already in, and then we're going to try to keep launching into new communities until we hit cars one day.
Excellent.
That 20% number, that's a big number. I think about the internet when it first came out and, trying to get people to buy over the web. I think there was a lot of kind of privacy or just concerns around it not being a safe place to buy. So I think going back to that point that we made around a marketing opportunity for you, I think for Whatnot, if you guys could really market that this is a safe marketplace to buy in, I think that will really help with adoption, especially in 2025 and 2026. So
yeah, for sure.
I think we need to keep I think it's a combination of like we should market that and be loud about that, but I also think like that trust is just going to come with years of us just doing the right thing for folks. And so like I want a lot of us, we just want to like lead by example. And when those incidents happen, those unfortunate incidents, we want to show up the right way. And I hope over time that like we're able to prove that, it's not a lip service, like we are actually living up to like these claims that we want to. And then I agree. We need to lean into that on the marketing front. When we think about marketing, we also think a lot about how we can market our sellers. Like that's the heartbeat of Whatnot. Like, when I said the $2 billion stats, like that's $2 billion of sales through our sellers and through all these entrepreneurs and small businesses. And, those are the things that I think get us most excited internally is that like, there's so many people that, it may seem like huge businesses now, but a lot of our biggest sellers were a one-person shop when they started a few years ago, and now they employ 50, 100 people. And so that happens every single year. There's new folks that enter. They're able to either like quit their full-time job and go all in on their passion. And I think when we think about marketing, like telling more of those stories, I think is really what's going to get what I hope is going to get live shopping more mainstream.
Excellent. LZ, I thought of my first internet purchase ever when you made that comment. It was 1996 and it was a bottle of hot sauce. And my parents were like, why are we giving you a credit card to do this? I successfully got that bottle of hot sauce and it was awesome. That was my first purchase on the internet.
I can't remember mine.
Armand, thank you.
Lighter.
You got a lighter.
I think I got a Zippo, and I think my parents might have canceled that transaction. But
Zippo, we all. Yeah. Oh, I had a stage of the Zippos. Oh man,
yeah. Zippos were awesome. They're still awesome. I need to get a Zippo.
Yeah.
Armand, thank you. Thank you for your time. Just a quick question. It sounds like you're a collector. So if anybody, I don't know, they have cool boxing shirts or something you want to check out, do you have socials that you have that people might want to follow? Or do you want to just direct everybody to Whatnot?
Yeah, I'm boring on social, so don't follow me. But
okay.
I would say just follow Whatnot. That's where we'll keep putting out the content. Our social team is awesome. And yeah, again, thank you guys for having me on the show. I love chatting with you at the National, Larry, and Nick. It's great to meet you. And so this has been great.
Yeah, I'm glad we're able to do it again. All right. Thanks
Armand. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye, everybody.